Hi there. So I will try to be a little bit more balanced now. Now I have some incense on and candles lit, and my cat is still around though, but she is probably, hopefully, more harmonious. She eats right now, so with her ears standing straight backwards, so who knows. But yesterday I think she was really disturbed because we had moved around furniture here and there for some days because there were people visiting, and so I think that actually was what made her totally crazy suddenly. She had it kind of, And being one who says I can talk to animals, it's rather weird that I can't talk to the cat. Yeah, I kind of can. I can feel her if I want to. But it's like other people around that I live close to or so. I don't tune in to them unless it's very needed or they ask for it. Or when it comes to people, only when they ask for it. But her, I sometimes have tuned into what she need. And then I get messages mainly from spirit guides who says what. And then it shows out to be correct because it's... calms her, but I haven't done that a lot, and but now I realized what it was. And those who have seen me with this cat, or actually have met this cat herself, they say not anyone else would manage that one, but I think there are several who would. But it takes some effort and focus to actually have her in a more balanced way. Yeah, she's wonderful though. I wouldn't change her for anything. Well, I mean, what do you say? Yeah, I wouldn't change her. I want her to be more harmonious and not so aggressive, but I wouldn't trade her. That's the kind of the word, right? I try to figure one thing I have here. Today I haven't had those other crystals, but I had a chunk of, I wonder where I put it. I had a chunk of citrine, quite a large chunk. Never mind, it's here somewhere, so I will just ignore it. But I've had it today, I think it was good for me. So, okay, gotta turn on the light. Here she is again. Let's hope she goes away. Maybe not. We will see. Okay, but now I will try to get into the focus. About the aura again. And maybe this will bug some people. This image that I have up. I wonder what's up with her. She wonders who's outside the door. What is it, little one? She hears everything. She's like a watchdog, but even more exact. If someone stands outside of the house, like even if it's just a wall and no windows or anything, she stands and stares right to where they are located through the wall, kind of. Yeah, she's sweet. Because then if I check, someone is out there, Anyway, so I just have been out, so I'm a little bit met a few people that I love, and so awareness. I think there is a lot of things that I try to cool myself down, that I don't understand also, especially when it comes to the whole political, that kind of area of life. But I've learned of late that, for example, the Lord of the Rings, he described a lot of the economical situation and so on in those books. I don't know the truth about that or for sure or anything, but anyways, I saw The Hobbit yesterday. It was on TV, so I watched it. And I kind of love that. I love all those, actually. The less violence or so, the better, I think, though. But I like them. Why did I say that? Just because, there are a lot of thoughts in my mind right now. But I had a cat. I had 2 cats before, a grey one and a black one, as I talked about previous video. And the grey one his name was Bilbo Baggins. No, he didn't have that last name. But, and the black one was called Filur. It's Swedish. I don't know what that would be interpreted into English though. But yeah, anyways, they were awesome and always kind. Never anything else. Yeah, their mom though, she was like such an outdoors half wild cat. She never got fully. She moved into us when I lived in Jönköping, and she never adjusted fully to be, like cats that have grown up with people like such. She was living outdoors there, and people fed her now and then, and so on. And after a while, we lived on the bottom floor there, so she jumped in through the balcony and started to live with us then. And then she moved a few times, but eventually she ended up out in the countryside with very caring people. So she was cat mom to these 2 that I talked about. Anyways, this one looks like in my mind anyways, you have these long ears. She looks almost like not fully, but a little bit like those Egyptian cats of sorts. Yeah, she's like a different race. She's like not a cat, I feel. She's a cougar. Anyways, but luckily a tiny one, or I would be dead. Yeah. Well, I haven't. Last time I did repeat a lot, and I think that's kind of good because oftentimes we need to hear things several times, but also it's easy to forget things, and so. But also I forget what I've said actually. But yeah. But anyways, this image here, I talked about the middle pillar exercise or meditation, it's called, and. Yeah, I've been a little bit into Kabbalah, but not too much. And there are several things that I realize now related to that I never knew, actually. But related to some other things that I've learned about this whole system of the economy and the now more so the communication and how that can be tapped into and whatnot, and the power that lies in those. Anyways, there are several families that have been involved in this forever, and who governs a lot of these things, maybe corporations, even more so now than before. And I say this very vaguely because I don't really understand this stuff, that's why. But it's interesting, and as I've heard so far from some sources anyways, I'm not sure if anyone who have similar there are differences, I guess. I would assume that anyways, that there are those who see it in similar ways, but maybe not fully. Obviously that's the case always, but there are those who are pretty antagonistic, it seems, towards use. Yeah. And Jewish people, whatever that is, as they would say. But so I think they probably would back off even to maybe some anyways to these things, since that is connected to the mysticism within Judaism. So I'm not sure on the surface that would be too addressed. Maybe they would just I don't know. I'm not sure of anything of that sort, but I think it would provoke a few people. It's interesting to me to widen my perspectives, and someone I came across quite recently anyways, have made me question a whole lot on that level, let's say, that is turned very much upside down now, that I see in way different ways now. Still, I don't think that's where I should have my focus or my energy. Mainly, I'm still very curious at different perspectives, and not only to understand. I'm not so curious on everyone's perspective. I'm not so curious at what everyone thinks, but I'm very curious about truth, and truth probably isn't all that. I mean, you can say the facts are facts, but still, I'm not so sure facts even changes. I mean, what we thought was facts, anyways, and so on. So, I mean, we have to hold on to something, right? Or so, but yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'm very curious at those things that makes any kind of sense to me. And these things do. I mean, several things that I learned lately. And that's very weird, because it goes against a whole lot of things that I previously thought was absolute. I mean, almost absolute. I was so secure in my ways of viewing certain things in the world. And then some of it is turned way upside down, and it's difficult then. It's not very difficult for me, because I live kind of in the spirit realm, or I that's where I spend my time, let's say. But still, it's different. I've mentioned this briefly in several videos now, I think. But when you hear any news or anything, I listened the other day to someone. Maybe I should put a link to that beneath, although that is in Swedish then, so maybe if you aren't Swedish you can't listen, I guess. I don't think they translate it in some way. But maybe you can Google and check him out anyways, but if you even can access that. No. It was on the radio. This man who talked about this whole environment and these things, and how the whole economical system needs to change, which is it's like a basic thing, and even the communication then is a basic thing. I mean, way much our communications with each other, but I mean the whole the communication that can be tapped into, and yeah, so you can rule people in that sense. Yeah, but really the power needs to change, obviously. But he said it's much more there much quicker change is needed. Then we don't have the time to wait for any economical shift, so before we correct certain things in the environment and whatnot. So, but who knows? I don't know for sure. And I'm not saying I could know. I could only think I know, so to speak. But I could tap into, or I can lay cards, or I can do these kinds of things to pick up on what is the right direction. Or perception, let's say, that is closest to what is so-called the truth. But I think, or I usually don't do that, actually. It's not in my level of interest so much, honestly. Although we all live here and we don't want pain. I mean, I don't want, and I don't want it for others either. So, yeah. As I said before, I'm a spiritual anarchist. And with that, I forgot to say that in a video. I started to say there are two things, and then I just mentioned one thing about the whole, freedom and not label things. I mean, not get stuck with labels or definitions of things, because then we mistake the finger for the moon, the finger that points towards something. So that is part of it, but the other part is this equality, and I dislike when it's used when people charge a whole lot. So this is what I dislike about it. If it excludes people because they can't afford it economically, that disturbs me a whole lot. And so and that disturbs me all over, not only in spiritual matters, but that's to me totally weird. But so also in that, because especially like so-called New Age stuff, although I like a lot of it, but one of its well-known sides, let's say, is that people in this kind of movement have charged a whole lot for certain things to teach it or whatever it is. I mean, extreme amounts even. And I myself, I charge a bit for certain work that I do a lot for free as well, but I don't charge so that it can't be affordable. And if someone would have such a crisis or problems economically and still wanted it very much, I would for sure do it. So it would never be in the way for anyone, There could also be exchange. There are many ways that could, other kinds of exchanges than just money. And the whole appreciation of it is more worth than anything else, if people at least try to take it in and so on. So. And in that case, it's difficult. Okay, this was not meant to talk about, but it's somehow difficult because sometimes people take it very much for granted if you give it away, and they don't value it. So the balance there is quite difficult. You have to kind of tune in to whatever that person, whom that is, But I know for sure that there are those who very seriously would like to take part of things, but they don't have the means materialistically. And then I just I don't like that way of judging people, seeing those more worthy of these, of love actually, because of their status in that sense. That disturbs me very much. So so my aims, but not easy aims as such, but I think freedom and love is kind of the same thing, and I haven't really gotten that together fully to myself. But I am trying to stretch myself there. I'm trying to see that, and I try to work with my ego, my personality, to not have it take over, because it really easily do so, especially when it's like strong emotions in a relationship and so on. So to actually see that what is love is actually freedom. So, and that is something, and that it also is giving towards yourself as well. But yeah. So I have a lot to learn still. But that is my aim. Freedom and love, I guess. And hopefully a sustainable world where it doesn't seem, when you look at people, also like when they sort of make those questionnaires or whatever to measure however happy, people are so lonely in the world, in this material. We live in luxury. Even I, who are seemingly actually a poor person in the society of Sweden measured, but there are those who are way poorer. but still I'm considered a poor person. I mean, and I see myself as actually, compared to others, not so rich materialistically, but I appreciate what I have very much, and I think I live in this luxury world. I mean, just look back, 100 years ago or 50 years ago or whatever. I have so much, even though I'm considered poor, and so I feel like blessed all the time with everything I have, and I have so much, and all the choices in all kinds of ways. But aside from that, even more so in the inner, that is where I have the treasures. That's where I'm totally rich, I feel. And so I didn't ever put much emphasis on outer materialistic things at all. I do so more now. I guess it comes with a sense of wanting security of sorts, but still it's not a high value for me, actually, because I value other things so much more. But it means something, and it can be troublesome to be without some of it also, pretty much. It can really, really create huge problems as well. So I'm not taking it lightly in a way, or rather I see the value of it more and more, you can say. So, but it still won't trump the inner, so to speak, and it wouldn't exceed. I hope not, because I've seen that also with those who work with spiritual things, and so how suddenly that takes over. What the gain is in that sense, and it's not that I judge them. I just see that the priority shifts, and how that. What is the sound here? Disturbing. What is that? Oh, they are doing something with snow, I guess. Disturbing anyway. Well, so yeah, I don't know what I was talking about. Sound. What is happening? Or is it a car they can't start? I don't know what that is. Maybe I have to listen with. I have no clue. Well, never mind. I try to ignore it. Yeah. God, irritating sound. Yeah, anyways, I have a lot to do with those things. But I feel pretty solid in finding that perspective, that I thought, as I said before about anarchy, I thought it was just rebellion and all kinds of things. And my love for that is huge. I feel like I kind of hit jackpot in that sense, because I realized, wow, this is such a beautiful, 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 lovely, fantastic. I can't even know, there are no words for amazing. I just love it. I'm reading Kropotkin and I was totally blown away. And it also disturbs me. I'm not saying I'm particularly intelligent. I wouldn't assume. No, I wouldn't assume that. But I have some insights, I think, or at least I have to speak from my perspective, however else would I speak. But it bothers me when people, for example, criticize Kropotkin or other brilliant minds who have not only their lives, but what they have achieved and how super intelligent they are. And they are talked about in a way that are like, when people mention anarchy, they talk often about how naive, and it's like is that the same word in English, utopia, or like utopia? Yeah, you can't reach it, it's impossible, kind of. And I mean, in the short perspective, that seems to be valid, but still, shouldn't you aim for the best possible thing, though? And I think people have given up on, not maybe on humanity, but but to see who we really truly are and the goodness that is in everyone. I do actually think so. I absolutely think so. Not every second though, but mainly generally, yes, I do. So I don't at all think it's impossible anymore. I don't care if people think I'm naive, because I'm among those brilliant, awesome persons that were really, really smart. I'm not saying, as I said, that I am, but I for sure realize that they are. And those who just wave that away, like, oh, that's so naive and so on. They are not very brilliant in comparison. So why should that matter, really? But it disturbs me that they think they can criticize them as that, like that. That really bugs me, but I will have to ignore it. Try to. Yeah, why should I bother? Oh, back to the aura now. So, and yeah, I tried today. I met also someone that I would love to do all kinds of work. You should not, in particular situations, you should not heal. You need to tune in, if so that you can feel that you won't feed the wrong things. And so I take great care not to do it that way. I would love to do like shamanic work and also several maybe crystal balancing work and with the aura. But I think I have to force this person. It didn't seem like that there was a lot of interest from that person, but yeah, I think if I push it, probably I can do something. I know it works very well, and yeah, I care, so I hope I can give some assistance. Yeah. Forced assistance. Really, but I think also some people who don't really, or maybe believe in these things, or so on, I think those, almost everyone likes and enjoys that someone cares for them and want to add to their well-being and so on. And it's a win-win, because it's really rewarding to mean while you do it as well. Not only because maybe they would appreciate it and love it, hopefully, but also because to me it feels very natural. It feels like this is what I came here to do, all these things. That's like when I'm doing the thing I should do here. That's how I feel. And so it always makes me happy. But yeah, there are certain things that you need to balance, though. Especially around that whole money factor. As I mentioned before, several times also, this girl who came for healing. It was Reiki that I did on her, and she loved it very much, and I felt a lot of things, and she needed it a lot. And then she got this gift. I gave it for free every week. And then she talked about, I mean, it seems like I'm bitter talking about it again, but it's not that. It's like an example of why you need to have some sort of, make a decision anyways, or maybe tune in better to other people's. I mean, if I had seen her aura, probably I would have stayed away, but I didn't check for that. So I could feel it, obviously, and balance it like that, but yeah, I could have seen more things if I tuned in more, but I didn't. So anyways, she got quite a lot of money that she can use to go to someone who could help, like a healer or something. So she went to a crystal healer that took quite a lot for one session, and came back to me the week after and so on, and mentioned this. I mean, it was a gift, like birthday or something, to that person. So it was, I can't choose what people do with their money like that. I don't mean that. But she said that she didn't feel it as much, or it didn't work as efficiently as when I did my thing, though. So that was sweet. But still, she never paid me anything. I didn't ask for it. I wanted to help her, so I did for free. But it still was really a little bit odd to be in that position, where someone take it so for granted, so that even I knew she hadn't a lot, but even when she had something, she really felt that it helped things I did, but she wouldn't want to use that on me. Although I can also understand that you want to try something else or whatnot, but that you maybe you can't afford otherwise. But still, I mean, I need to like be aware of these situations. And even when people when I've been giving for years a lot of things to them, and suddenly they start to say, hey, do you have time? Can I come by this time today? And I'm just, no, I'm not busy. And they get all like pissed off because I'm not available exactly when they decide that I should be for their whatever needs. I mean, and then I understand also, wow, I've been giving way too much here, you know. And then they start to not only take it for granted, but also demand it on their terms. And then it have gone way bad. And other situations as well when it comes to that kind of is needed to balance. Yeah. And sometimes also when people have, as I said, I'm quite considered a poor person, and I don't really care, but it sounds like I care now because I talk about it. But when others have a lot, you know, they fly over the world, they do this and that costs a lot and so on, and they come to me and want things for free. That is very weird, because maybe I don't have almost money to toilet paper stuff. You know, it's not a struggle because I'm used to. I've always been quite poor, so it's nothing to me. I mean, I don't suffer in this. I'm okay, absolutely. I could enjoy a lot more, but it's not that I feel a need for it even. I'm okay. But it's weird in my mind when those who have a lot, in that sense, wouldn't want to balance that with in an exchange manner, because I may have more in a sense, or at least maybe not more, but I have something that I can share and help them wake up in themselves. Maybe at least I have something. They want what I have. They come to me for it, so, and appreciate it too. Many do, luckily, which also, as I said, is the most rewarding thing. But the imbalance there can make me a little bit, I need to like back off and wonder how to deal with this really, because it seems like, and I guess this is just, you know, this whole Björk song, Human Nature or something, what is it called? You know, it's just human nature, I guess, but still it's weird that if you give for free, it gets degraded almost, like as if it does not have a great value. And if you then up the price, people think it is a higher value suddenly not because of whatever the thing is, but the price itself said some sort of, I mean, that's interesting. How you can be like that blind. But that's how we work. And same with many other things, of course. Beauty is one that sells. Or other things, although something can have equal or more positives, let's say, or like value in the sense. Yeah, anyways, you know what I mean. Yeah. I'm not disturbed by these things now. I have been a little bit, actually, but it's more like I'm not absolutely clear how to deal with these things, because I'm still an anarchist, or I'm actually quite newly one. This summer, I guess I realized it, and then it have deepened a bit. Yeah, so I try to see how to do this in a good way, because I never want to be one of those who who exclude others who have less. That's just weird, especially working in the spiritual field. That's like totally, absolutely strange to me. You need to like care for the weak, let's say. And also this whole, in Minaki, it's talked about very beautifully, this whole, also the responsibility, not the least, to raise others, let's say, to your level. It sounds like you look down on them, but I mean, if you have an awareness of certain things, to share it with others so that they can also become aware. And as well, when it comes to other things, I think it would be the same then. Make it possible for others to have the same kind of lifestyle with whatever good that would be, But also we measure things in such strange ways, as I was going to say in the beginning there, that the happiness seems not to be very related to material riches, as well as rather the loneliness. People get more and more scared what they would lose then, or something. It gives less and less freedom after a while. There is like maybe this whole tipping point they talked about the environment and whatnot, but also when it comes to that, I guess there is a tipping point when it takes over, when it owns you rather than you it. And yeah, where it feeds your fears rather than liberates you. Well, that was not at all what I was going to talk about the aura. Yeah. It's also about it's like working with life force. That is what it is, working with energy. And we all have it, so. And we can work with that in so many ways. And become more aware of it and understand it better and so on. And I guess this is, as it is included in those other aims with freedom and love and all that. And I would love to share this with someone close, really. I share it with those that I share it with, and those I teach, and those clients I have and whatnot. But like in a more intimate, private way with someone, that would be awesome. Yeah. Anyways, for now it seems not to be the case, so And if we don't grasp for the best, our greatest potential, if you say, then isn't that to like push away our gifts? All the love, all the beauty and happiness and everything that is meant to be, that we are able to create together, especially together. That's what we need to do, isn't it? I don't know, but that's how I feel. And so we need to open our visions, our perspectives to other worlds, dimensions. That is what this whole thing is about. And not stay stuck in a certain narrowness, It's easy to think you are, and then you suddenly, as I did, I realized I had been so stupid, and I'm probably still when it comes to a lot of things. But I was really, really wrong in many ways, and I had been pretty sure that I was correct, and that if I didn't talk to someone actually having these perspectives and these views, who could patiently sort of take my reactions a bit, and also my questions that probably this person have answered millions of times or something, and and just realizing that I don't understand more than this. So, yeah, answering still in a kind of, at least having the patience to answer that at all, kind of, if that would not have been the case, I would never have seen these things, because I would have dismissed them without checking further or deeper into them. And I thought I was one who questioned things. I thought I was someone who wanted to see through things. And but anyways, when it comes to those kinds of things, I'm still on this. I'm almost like a question mark. There are certain things that I see now that I didn't see, and I see them always. Therefore, it's difficult to hear news or whatever, because they're just off topic, sort of. And also this one, that thing that was about the environment and all the science. Also there, I feel, but this is just focusing on the wrong thing, This is not the problem here, although it is, maybe, if it's, however people see that, but it still is not, the focus is still totally upside down, There are other things that need to be changed for it to possibly be changed. Whatever governs the politicians, and the politics. If you can't change that, how would that, then we can just talk about it forever. What would change, Yeah. But anyways, I talked about this before, and I would repeat myself now, I think for the third time when it comes to this. But there are especially 10 things that I've heard about that are not good for the aura, which is then to eat in an unhealthy way. Yes, I can mark my ones. That's totally one for me. And also being very sensitive, sugars and all that, all the numbness of food. You see many fat mediums because they fly away otherwise, rather, or they want to ground themselves. And also men who work with magic and so are quite stiff, let's say. Not stiff, that's the wrong word. I mean, stuffed, no. What is the word? Anyways, heavy. To be grounded, but there are other ways to ground yourself, and you maybe need to learn them if you haven't, if you have problems with this. For example, you can just take a little bit of salt and put on the tip of your tongue to ground yourself immediately. There are various ways, but I never knew about these, and still you need to remember them in certain situations also, that okay, this is what I need. First, what you need, that you need to ground yourself, and then the other choices that are there, because you will get very out of balance if you use food to find that groundedness. Although, in magical workings, many do that, but not in a compulsive or addictive manner, just as the means to ground yourself in the physical. But there are other ways than food to use then, also. And also you can use better sorts of food if you want to ground yourself with it. But anyways, that's one. And then lack of exercise. And now I've started to do, there is this awesome sun salutation. There is also moon salutations. Actually, I've seen the moon so much lately. I love the moon. But that can also be very good, actually, depending on, it balances different things. But there is a book that I have had for years, and I have not really managed to do much of push-ups and so on before, so I never really went into that. It's more of an exercise, sun salutations, and so not very difficult now when I can do those, but still much more fun to me than doing those traditional sun salutations. So I like to feel that my muscles grow. Yeah. So it's kind of fun. But anyways, so both that and when it comes to cardio or other muscle training, or whatever, but lack of exercise anyways will weaken your aura or your radiance. Obviously, you can see that on anyone, their charisma, kind of their radiance. Also lack of fresh air and lack of rest. That is a problem for many who take great care in other ways, like exercise or eat healthy maybe, but they don't rest a lot. And that's what I've been better at least physically, but I'm always actively in my mind though. But yeah, and alongside with that comes stress. So in whatever way you stress will influence your aura in a not awesome way. And then alcohol, drugs, tobacco, all kinds of negative habits. You know yourself oftentimes what weakens you, obviously. But everything depends on how you use it, as I said, and I mention it again. I could actually, or I would probably choose actually to use alcohol in some rituals if things were a little bit different just in my lifestyle, I almost said, but in my where I live now and whatnot. So, and I can also, I wouldn't use drugs, but other kinds of, and I wouldn't like use alcohol for myself, but as a cleansing and like a sacrifice. Let's say I need to take some water. I'm sorry. Well, I should pause. Wait a sec. Sorry, it was like in those plastic bags that are very, very loud. I haven't been drinking it yet though. So I will do that now. Plastic bottles is not very good for the environment. We are getting new water here now. Better water. Good. By the way. But also different water. My river, which is here, is where we got the water beforehand. And that's very connected to my whole system. I was born closest to that. So anyways. But it's not a very healthy river, sadly. Yeah, I've healed to it several times, so yeah. But okay. So I think I would never have a need for any drugs of any sort. But actually, ayahuasca sometimes it would totally depend on with whom, and I would love to be there in the jungle then, doing it with those. From those tribes who really know the practices and everything, if I would do that. But I don't really have a need to do it though. But I see more of appreciation for it now than I did before though. So it depends, everything of this, it depends obviously, but generally if you take these things and not in a ceremonial setting or anything, it weakens the aura. And tobacco is the same. I mean, the Native Americans have used that a lot in holy purposes, let's say, for holy purposes. And I probably would use that also sometimes. Yeah. But right now I use other incense and stuff, so yeah. But anyways, negative habits in any kinds of way. I mean, if you do one thing that won't affect you as much, and also as they say in Ayurveda, that if you do one thing like 51% of the time or of the amount or whatever, then that's more of a habit then. If you do it less, then you don't have to be like totally strict, yes or no, but overall, so that it's not, the habit is not what? They took back the mail. Anyway. Yeah. The overall time or amount or so on would then be a healthy one, so there wouldn't be unhealthy habits as such. If it takes over, that's when it's really distressing. If it's overall, even if it's just 51%, that would be on the positive side. That is still That is still quite strong though. Also the whole system and the whole universe actually, and the guides and everyone support the healthiest choices and so on. So we have a lot of support in that, and even instinctively, or what can you say, in every cell of us, that is in the life force itself. There is support for that stuff that is good for us. So yeah. And also, as I said, about activities spiritually that aren't awesome for us, that will really weaken the aura. So, and that can be in many ways. It can be that we mix a lot of things also. That can be really confusing. If we mix a lot of things from various time periods or various cultures or so on, and also the pace, if we do several things very quickly and we aren't really ready for them, as well as, of course, the intent. If we have bad intent spiritually, that will not be an awesome thing. But as with everything, there is no black and white like that. And that's kind of an immature way of seeing things. Before you realize that in certain situations, maybe you can't make those clear distinctions as much as you thought so. So, anyways, whatever that means, I mean, you have to also yourself become aware of, aware of what things mean to you, you know, and tune in to yourself, what it means to you, yeah. So, I think I've said a lot of these things, so I will just. One other thing is that I'm not sure about what is correct here, but Ayurveda I love very much, as you know. Mainly, there are things there I question too, but some people say that the consciousness is connected to the physical when you get what is the word for this now? Yeah, when the sperm meets the egg. I don't know the word for it. And in Ayurveda it says that it's 40 days after that the soul, at least, maybe the consciousness is connected before, but when the soul enters the embryo, it's after 40 days. Yeah, and this they get like more and more intertwined, or what you say, entwined, and the more time goes, and the intensity and everything grows, so it becomes like one. And also this energy around us, the aura, then is built up to support and to develop the body, according to some. So, yeah. I think maybe I've asked several questions about how you can tune in and feel the energy field. I think I did in one of the videos before. I don't remember if I did. But if I didn't, well, I skip it now anyways, because you can't tell me. Yeah, I'm quite sure that I did, so I won't do that now. These are things I've written down many, many, many years ago. And so it's not exactly the same place and whatnot. Yeah. I think I've said the most things about this, so I won't repeat that. But also, I only said what is bad, how you weaken your aura. Obviously, the opposite of those things, those 10 things, will strengthen your aura then. So, yeah. And if you're unaware of how outer energy affects you, then you also can get weakened aura. So, And then you can feel mentally or emotionally unbalanced or so on. If you don't see or feel the aura, you know it by that. Yeah. So, sounds, warmth, and also those electrical impulses, and not the least those 5G and all those stuff, all those waves, whatever they're called, that goes on in the space that we don't see, that are connected to all our devices and whatnot, that can really affect us, especially if we are sensitive, and especially if our aura field isn't strong enough. So I wish I could reach others who have problems with sensitivity when it comes to electricity and so on, because I had quite some problems with that. But then my aura have healed quite some, so I don't have as much problems now. Oftentimes, very seldom, I don't have it. I don't really recognize it almost ever now, but it's very few of those do have problems with it that even knows anything about the aura and how you can strengthen it quite easily. I recommend Kundalini Yoga, as I said, but they don't know it, so they go around. Some live out in some trailer outside of others, and I have a cousin who are really, really sensitive and can't almost be anywhere and whatnot, but she still doesn't know this about the aura. And I've tried to mention a few things, but to her I think it just sounds like weird. Use some crystals, do these yoga practices. I don't think she've tried it even. I don't know, but yeah, it's because I know it heals. It actually heals, and it works very efficiently and quickly. That's also so. Yeah. So yeah, but also if you are influenced by others' energies, you will also, maybe if you feel beneath them or like a failure or so on, that is very closely connected to your electrical magnetic field. And yeah, and if you are influenced easily to do something you maybe actually didn't want to do, that also indicates that your aura field is quite weak, or weaker than the others anyways. And also, as I said before, I think if you feel drained when you talk to someone or so on, they invade your energy system then, Not that doesn't mean they are mean or anything, but yeah. So the key to protect yourself anyways, if you think of it or rather the key to hold your own vibration strong in Munaki, we don't talk about protecting, or maybe some do, but generally we talk about light and heavy energy, and that heavy energy that weighs, that takes a toll on our energy system, is what we need to release and bring in some light energy that would support the natural systems of our energy. And so it's not that heavy energy can be really, really beneficial to some other person, or to herself, or to, it's not that it's mean or evil or something we need to protect against as such. We need to balance it. So anyways, it's in the aura. The whole thing goes on. Yeah, God, I wish I did this better, but I don't. So, but at least I do any kind of videos, and hopefully someone who needs to pick them up, you may do. So let's hope, yeah. Yeah. And when your aura is strong and vibrating, then you will push off those negative or unbalanced energies. And also with the initiations in Munaki, those 9, there are also some additional, but there you get these bands of power. For example, in that one, they absorb and transform that energy that comes towards you. And you can also kind of boost these initiations several times, but yeah. But the most efficient way to heal overall, we all know this, that, as I said before, sometimes yoga is, what did I say? Food is our medicine anyways. And yoga is the therapy. Yeah. So, but we all know this when it comes to a lot of things, that if we just eat healthy and we exercise and get fresh air and so on, our whole aura field will be strengthened. So if you see that there is some lack in those basics, that is the most efficient way to correct it. But then again, if it's already weak, as mine was really, really crappy, then you may need to check. I mean, I wouldn't have had the capacity to get to those things then. It's now that when I'm quite healed in that energetic way, that I can start working on these other things, because to me I couldn't go in the other direction. It wouldn't work. Although sometimes back and forth I have been more healthy than other times, but still my aim has been that, but I haven't been able to totally fully. So and it needs it can kind of it's self renewing, you can say, or not regulating, but it cleanses itself in a way when it's strong also, but it can't build itself up if you constant bring it down, so to speak, if you weaken it, also with a lot of, let's say, tobacco, alcohol, and so on, drugs. So and if our mental state then is very affected by the aura and that is weak, then we can have a constant stress and emotional traumas, or being confused mentally, or some imbalance there, chaos and worry and fear and all kinds of negative emotions that then in themselves that create this so bad circulation, if you say, where it weakens it even further and so on. So the energy just drains and you get very tired easily. And if this keeps going, you can get then holes or injuries in the aura field. And then eventually also physical imbalances that will come together with those other imbalances. Yeah. So and music can also be used, as I think I talked about some time ago. Yeah, I mentioned this about this middle pillar exercise and the sound waves of that, but also Om Mani Padme Hum that I put a link to, although they had, I think, gong or some singing bowls or something they made sounds with as well. But sounds and music and so on can also be used to balance and strengthen the aura field. And church music is very purifying. You can cleanse the room in like 10 minutes with that. But if you have troubles with that kind of music, it may be not work as well for you, though. But it's about the vibrations rather than where it come from or the exact words or. But classical music that you find uplifting and harmonious, you can use those. Maybe I'll put a link to some beneath here as well on those. And scents can also be used to protect or strengthen the aura field. You can use smoke or scents from various herbs. As I'm a magician, I work with magic. So or I mean, witchcraft is where I learned it. But I mean, you can also then, if you use real actual herbs, then it cleanses so much more. It have such a different impact than if you use something that just have similar scent, or perfume. Like the herbs themselves have a very strong effect. But you can use incense. Some of incenses have the herbs themselves in them as well, or are herbs like sweetgrass and sage and Palo Santo, for example, and so on. They are the real thing from the beginning. I mainly use those. But also I have some other incense, some of it just for the scent, actually. But, yeah. And I don't even know if it's any of the herb in them, probably not. And ethereal oils as well. They have very strong influence on the aura and emotionally and mentally on those energies. And oils as well. They have been used forever to prevent diseases, both oils and incense, whether they are physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. Sage, as I mentioned, and also grass, just if you have just cut the grass. That scent is very purifying and balancing for the aura. And I feel that now I had some incense when I started talking, so that I wouldn't become more irritated like yesterday. And also the candles, it helps my cat, I think, also, although I try to be careful how much incense. She doesn't like smoke much, but I really feel that sometimes. And sometimes when people come here and they are exhausted or irritated at something, I just go around waving sage or sweetgrass or something around them, and depending on what I feel they need, or Palo Santo or something. Because sage I found most efficient when it comes to that. But they appreciate it. Although they may not care from the beginning, but they feel how it cleanses their whole system, immediately they feel much better. So, So incense do have a high energy vibration that's very efficient, so... Gardnerian, is that the English word? I don't know, but that scent is also very powerful if you work with counseling or healing and so on. It helps also so you don't get too involved in other people's problems, and so you can keep your emotional objectivity. There are many other scents, and you can also practice. You can obviously use those traditional ones, but you can also find what works best for you. And I've never found anything as efficient as working with Munaiki, or those Andean shamanic practices. So that's the core. Although all other things are really awesome that I've also come into contact with. But that is those practices are so seemingly simple, but they are so strong and so efficient. Yeah, so some may dismiss them just because of the seemingly simplicity of them, and do much more complicated things just because it feels like it would have more impact then. But the more you do and the more you learn to see and feel and experience energy, the more you will know for sure what is efficient. So, and it may differ from whomever you are also, I don't know. But to me that's the case. Crystals and stones, I've said. Obviously the connection to Mother Earth, she is so protective and lovely, as well as the sunlight, as Father Sun. Even if you have just a little 2 centimeter quartz crystal, it can widen the aura field to 90 to 120 centimeters. And also, if you use crystals, make sure to cleanse them properly. Find out how. It's not difficult, but if you don't, you can add actually to imbalances quite a lot while having crystals filled with stuff that you don't want to have there. You need to cleanse them regularly. And if you have those double cords, like with that are pointing each end, that's very efficient when it comes to cleanse the aura and also carry with you. I did that the other day, as I said, before I even thought about talking about these things. Yeah. But if you know there will be a tense situation of sorts, you can have them so that you are prepared. Like you won't be as exhausted or tired or strained then. Yeah. You can have one in both hands. Now she's here, my angry little cat again. Hey. She's not so angry today, it seems. Good. We have had some incense here, cleansing our auras. Well, you can also do visualizations with or without crystals. And that to some also seems like just imagination and it doesn't work. I mean, but it's really efficient to visualize. And the more good you are at visualization, hey baby, it's a little bit... Come here, baby. Yeah. Or wherever you want to go, because I have things in the way. I know, baby. Wait a second, little one. Okay, I need to pause now and let her lay here before she starts to bite me today. Wait a sec. Wait, little one. So, okay. Now she have a cozy blanket. I don't want to make her mad at me again like she was the other day. She almost killed me. Okay. So, maybe you hear her purring now. I don't know if you hear it. Yeah. Anyway, so I will keep going for a little bit longer. Soon I will end this, but I maybe you don't hear me as well because I don't have the I need also to direct this light in another direction for her. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, if you feel drained, then you can use those double quartz crystals in both your hands. Just visualize, as I said, and see how this energy of the crystals is recharging your body and how the energy is filling your energy field. There are many other techniques I've talked about. I guess I talked about those Munaki techniques that I used a lot. Also rhythmic breathing in 5-10 minutes or so and can help balance and strengthen your energies. It also helps when you want to go from working mood to more relaxed, so that you do that as a process in between, like an adjustment sort of. So also that it makes it easier for your body to relax, or your mind even to relax, if you have that as a procedure you use, then that will automatically kick in, sort of, because you know now it's time to let those things go, and otherwise it may take a longer time for you to come into relaxation. And also let go of those things you have picked up during people you met at work or whatever you've done there. And especially, obviously, if you work with tarot or tuning in mediumship work or psychic work or so on, then you obviously need to do this. When you have had a client, to not keep them with you for a long time. I used to keep connections open when I sleep, because I get so much information during sleep when people have asked for readings and so on. But not always. I mean, I pick up what is needed anyways, I think. But I know that my conscious mind is even less involved then. So maybe it can go through some... I mean, information can come through that I otherwise would not... I mean, I would filter it away, sort of, with my conscious mind. Yeah. It's really good to remind myself of these things, although I know I don't do it in a very constant, focused way. So, but yeah. Yeah, so there are practices, as I said. I wonder if I talked about this before. Also, when you talk with people on phone or online or so on, you pick up on their energies. So the closer, the more energy probably you pick up. If you hear their voice, you pick up more energy, and if you meet them, even more. But still, you may also experience some pain or so on, that you're like pain in the stomach or so on. Maybe it means that you're drained of energy, but also it can be that you subconsciously heal. I usually feel their exact pain, and that is more like a healing process, but it's subconsciously. I don't try to tune into them. I suddenly just feel their pain for a while. And oftentimes, as I said about that, they are not conscious about that fact, that they just, their energy system just knows that it needs some energy. So, and they need to feel strengthen their, or build their energy up. So, yeah. And also they will notice when they have talked to you that they feel way better, aside from you feeling more drained then. So, and that's also an holy exchange, is one of the basics of Munai Ki as well. And that does not mean like in exact amounts of money or something like that. Rather, in the larger context, also that if you give to someone, it will come back in some other way as well. But also to find that energy balance where there is an exchange, because it will benefit you both the best. Otherwise, especially if you stay in contact with someone, you will resent them after a while. If you feel drained and they are filled up, it won't work. So you need to find an exchange that is better. Yeah. So even if people have a lot of needs, it doesn't mean that it's you that have that you need to feel them for them, or that it's your obligation or something, and they don't have the right to your energies in any kind of way. And that's also one thing that is sometimes difficult when you heal and do these things. It's as if you should like be there for everyone and give everything for free. I mean, without expecting any exchange at all, energetically. But and if you are really not a good person if you don't do it for free. I mean, if you feel like you don't have the time or space or whatever, and so on. But yeah, you just need to know yourself that you have the right to your own energy as well as anyone else, and they don't see whatever you struggle with. Even if you work with these things, nothing is static. It's not staying the same, and we all grow, and therefore things will be out of whack sometimes, and that's how it is. And others can't. Yeah. However, if people would judge you or think that they have the right to demand your energy, that's just not right. So no more so than you demanding theirs. And if they need to learn that somehow, and you just need to know it for yourself and let them have whatever opinion. Yeah. And you don't have to accuse them or see them as vampires or anything. And you don't need to say that you don't want to talk to them because they drain you or anything. Just, just know what you know. People will also think you're very rude or think you've lost it if you would say so. Yeah. And probably they don't want to have anything to do with you if you say those things also. So it's a way to resolve it, you can say. But yeah. most people haven't opened up to these, maybe now more so, but still there are many who have not opened up to these subtle energies. And therefore, when you hang around those who don't know these things, know as in practically know, many knows in their minds or have heard or so on, but they don't experience it. So then the best thing you can do is to just balance the situation without saying anything. So you can yourself decide whether or not others will have access to your energy or not, even if they think they have the sort of the right to it. And you can then close your energy in various ways. As I said, you can close your circuit of energy in the body with crossing the ankles, is that word? Well, the foot, or holding your thumbs together. Meanwhile, you hold your index finger also together, like a downward triangle, kind of. Yeah. And you can also have those other fingers entwined if you wish to, almost like in prayers. Yeah. So you can close off your own energy, so it won't drain you. And it's very important to care for your own energy, to care for yourself. There are constantly much energies going around. It doesn't even if you see someone do that around you, doesn't mean that it's your energy. It may be those from mobile phones or anything else that goes on in the room, or even spiritual energies, or it can be anything that they pick up on. So don't take it personal if you see anyone doing that, though. But it can be all around you, those energies flowing, and as well as in your energy field, in yourself as well, wanting to balance it or keeping the flow more steady in yourself. Yeah. So, yeah. It's not good to be closed all the time. You won't pick up anything then. So, yeah. And then it will be draining as well. You need to kind of understand things more than yourself. And that's the way to understand yourself, to understand the mirror outside. So, yeah. So if you know there are people who immediately drain you, think about that, to close your circuits like that, physically also. And you can even do it with visualizations and other ways, of course. Yeah. And also when you speak with them, or when you even are in contact online or whatnot, when you are on phone or whatever. And maybe they will then recognize and say that you aren't as nice as you used to be, or you aren't as open as you used to be. Oh, people always want me not to be, so maybe that will be positive. I love to be open, and it's sometimes really draining. And people can wonder if you're angry at them or something. But this is not, and you really don't, it doesn't mean that you push them away or are angry or anything. You will still be able to talk and be as nice as always, but they will feel that they can't take that energy, that you won't allow, or you will feel it yourself, obviously, as well. So you won't be drained. And since they get so uplifted when they meet you, otherwise, usually, they will feel that something is really wrong. But still, no one has the right to take your energy unless you allow it. So I will end with that and come back with a little bit more, I guess. At least one more about the war, then I will stop with these, or maybe a couple at the most. I know I've been dragging this out and talked about other things, and as well as repeated myself a lot. But I hope you got something out of this. This is very important, so I don't regret having talked about it so much. I mean, I could go on and talk about this for. Yeah, this is very central stuff that many would need. It should be like taught to everyone, I think. So, still we're on the basics of it though. there is so much more fun to discover. Okay, thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Yeah, and I will bumping into. I will repeat that though. I don't respond or I don't read comments here at the moment. Maybe I will. I don't know. And I mean, sometimes, some days, some year, I don't know. But I see if you have commented, and I will respond in the way that I will pick some cards, not to you who have commented specifically, but so that you can choose a card and then get something back from me anyways. And thank you so much for comments. And also I see likes and dislikes, obviously, so I will have that in mind though, that whatever you may mean with that, but it's some sort of little bit of communication. Otherwise, for my aura to feel strong and whole and everything there like that, I need to not read your comments. I'm sorry about that though. I wish it was possible, but it doesn't help me much. So, but I'm grateful for what have been so far. Okay, I guess you miss out on some if you close. This is one way to do that actually, and some people may think of it also as an aggressive way, or that you're mad at people or something, but it's not about that. It's about balancing myself, and I know that I will miss out on some goodies, but you have to take the good with the bad. What to say? Yeah, it's mainly good for me. So, and I hope I still can give you something. Okay, bye for now.